Hello, how do you do this thing again? Hi, I'm Christine. Welcome to my channel, chunbuns. It's been a hot minute since I've uploaded a video here on YouTube. I haven't been uploading for 8 long months, and that is quite a long break. Recently, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine who asked why I've been so quiet on YouTube ever since I started my new job back in May last year. And I told him I was just very busy, a lot of workload at Instacart, which is my new employer. I realized during that conversation that the reason was much deeper and personal than just my busyness, because I'm the type of person that if I think something is worth it, I'll make sure I carve out time to do that thing. The truth is, I've been seriously battling an imposter syndrome. And I know that sounds like this fatal chronic disease, and it's not, but it was very crippling for me.
I forgot to mention what exactly is imposter syndrome because I just assumed everyone knows what that is. But just to recap, imposter syndrome is this persistent fear of being a fraud and not being good enough. I really like this graph that illustrates this concept well. When you have imposter syndrome, you feel like what you know is like this tiny dot, and what everyone else knows is like the whole world, which is not true at all because everyone has their own domain knowledge and not everyone has the same thoughts as you might. That's why it's so important to have diversity when working in teams, because you're not all thinking of the same solution, and that really enhances creativity. I also found this illustration while I was Googling. So imposter syndrome affects women more predominantly than men, and I can really testify to that. I totally agree with this, even though men might not agree with this. As a woman, and as I'm talking with more men in the field, I feel like they don't suffer with imposter syndrome as much as women do. And it usually also happens with high achievers. And all my friends say you're very ambitious, you're a high achieving person, but I also have a hard time accepting that I'm a high achiever because I often feel like I have so much to grow and achieve before I'm even considered a high achiever. So I guess that's just a confirmation that I am a high achiever.
I've never worked at a big scale company like Instacart before, and so in every aspect of my job, I felt so inadequate and I felt like I never measured up, especially when it came to presenting and defending my designs in front of stakeholders, in front of product managers and these designers that were so smart and intelligent. I just felt so inadequate compared to them. You know, all this self-doubt and fear and feelings of inadequacy really crippled me to not want to do this and not want to talk in front of a camera, which is a reason why I've been silent for the past 8 months. But at the start of this year, I was able to reflect a lot on how I've changed in the past year, and I was able to slowly loosen up and hush that self-critic in me, which helped me gain my motivation back. The 2 things that were really helpful in finding myself again and finding that peace of mind were journaling and reading books. I've been journaling almost every single day for the month of January. I journal my raw thoughts and feelings, and I just take 10 minutes in the morning and I pray about them, and I also surrender those things to God because I practice Christianity and spirituality is very important to me. And this journaling process has helped me relieve my anxiety and my stress so significantly. Number 2, reading books. I've been reading a lot of self-help books and books on confidence, vulnerability.
Here are some of the books that have helped me get out of my ruts. Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. This is a sequence of his first book, Steal Like an Artist. And if you are in the creative industry, this is such a staple to have. I reference this book a lot when I feel like I'm stuck, and he's such a relatable person. He just gets you as a creative being, so I highly recommend that you have this on your bookshelf. I also really like Brené Brown's books. This is my favorite though, The Gifts of Imperfection, which talks about vulnerability and how that's an ingredient to having a wholesome life. She talks about her research on shame and how to live a life without shame. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, she's the author of Eat, Pray, Love, is also really good, but sometimes she gets a little too new agey, so I'm not a huge fan of that. But There's some really good nuggets of wisdom here, and her whole idea is that when you are creating work, you should not create because you feel obligated or you want the money. You really should be creating work because you love the work itself. So her whole thing is enjoy the process and not the outcome. And recently, I read a book called Grit, and I don't have the book right now because I returned it to the library, but I wrote a book summary. I'm trying to journal, sketch every day, which is obviously failing because I haven't written anything or I haven't drawn anything since Tuesday. I've written some key takeaways here. There are no shortcuts to excellence. Developing real expertise and figuring out hard problems all take time. I really like this one. Talent is common. What you invest to develop that talent is the critical final measure of greatness.
And I love that book because it challenged the way I view myself and view others when it comes to mastering a certain skill set. It's not actually natural talent that gets you far. It's persistent and consistent practice over a long period of time. And that's what I'm trying to do with YouTube and design as well. And so this video is the start of my quote-unquote new journey. With that said, I feel like I have a stronger purpose and vision for growing this channel this year. And I hope you're excited to learn about what I'm learning at my job and about design and career. I'm thinking about doing more videos on my experiences working in tech as an Asian American woman and other career related topics. So if you're interested in knowing more about different topics, do comment below. I'm the most active on Instagram.